it's no secret that I'm no fan of Joy-Ann Reid. She's basically a corporate Democrat extraordinaire. But she did a very good segment here about Israel with a religious reform activist named Frank Schaeffer. Take a look.
In a sermon in the late 1990s, Pastor Hagee said that the Bible made it clear that Hitler and the Holocaust, when about 6 million Jews were killed, were part of God's plan to return Jews to Israel. Quote, how did it happen? Because God allowed it to happen, he said, referring to the Holocaust. Why did it happen? Because God said, my top priority for the Jewish people is to get them to come back to the land of Israel. He was at that opening of the embassy too. Why would these two groups be in the same space? Jewish people, Israelis, and people who believe they are going to hell.
Well, Joy, thank you for having me on. And the reason they're in the same space, by the way, while Palestinians are being shot by snipers over a wall in a 60-0 confrontation where 60 Palestinians killed and no Israeli soldiers are killed, at that moment that is going on, there are American evangelical, white evangelical Trump supporters talking about the embassy coming into Jerusalem as a sort of act of God. But actually, it's not by chance. The Israeli government and the present prime minister have made it very clear that lobbying for the Jerusalem embassy and also support of Israel has focused on pandering to the extremists, the lunatic fringe, forgive me, but the moron fringe of the evangelical white movement in America that believes that Israel had to return to the original borders described in the Bible in order for Jesus to come back. And by the way, when he does come back, to burn most of the Jews who have not believed in him while setting up the new earth and the new heaven. So we are now looking at exactly what happens with so much evil in the world that comes down to tribalized religious thinking. That's what's going on.
So this is a guy who was a fundamentalist, who is now coming out and saying, hey, listen, we're dealing with morons here. They have fundamentally incorrect beliefs, and their beliefs are dangerous. You know, the belief is, on the Christian side, well, first of all, the ultra-Orthodox Jews say, well, all this, I have a right to all of this land. This is all Israel. Jerusalem is ours. And then the Christians say, yes, biblical prophecy is that all of this is yours, and then the rapture happens. So Israel gets all the land, fuck the Palestinians, they can go to hell. And then Jesus comes back in the rapture, kills most of the Jews, saves some of them, and then that's when end times happens. So what we're dealing with guys like John Hagee and Robert Jeffers, literal end times believers, and, religious fundamentalists of the Jewish variety and the Christian variety, making policy based on that. Now, I don't think Trump is a true believer. In fact, I'm pretty sure I know Trump is not a true believer. But he's more than willing to give these people whatever the fuck they want, because that's how he's getting most of the pats on the head from the establishment now behind the scenes. So we have a radical, theocratic, fundamentalist agenda being implemented. And the results are not just terrible at face value, which they are, but then also now you have the slaughter of Palestinians from the IDF, sniping people from 200 yards away, at least 60 Palestinians dead, almost 2,000 injured. So it's a total destruction of human rights in the process. So think about this. The people who claim they're the most religious, who believe the most, are willing more than anything to take away people's human rights and to destroy any possibilities for peace for ideological reasons. And it's mostly the secular people and the open-minded, liberal, tolerant religious people who are the ones who are like, hey, let's not destroy Palestinians' human rights. Let's not destroy the peace process. Let's actually work towards creating peace on this earth. So what a bizarre situation. What a terrible situation. And the thinking is so twisted and perverted that, yes, you have people who are open anti-Semites who yearn for the day that all these Jews get killed, standing alongside these Jews to celebrate this movement of the Jerusalem embassy.